Now we head to the first of our 5 pre-finals here at the home of British karting. It is Project E20, Junior, Senior and Masters. Let's have a look at your starting grid. So on pole position, having done a clean sweep yesterday, it'll be Spencer Brorum that leads the field, and alongside him on the front row will be Belgium's Thijs Dams. Yuri Jonsson and Charlie Turner will comprise of row number 2, followed by Mats-Johan Overhoff and Tomas Ibsen. Then we've got Lloyd from Canada, Sundberg from Sweden. We've then got Cameron Crockett, Daniel Sabula, Philip Loacker, Niels Lilja, George Holbrook, and the man that is one step away from becoming the inaugural E20 Masters champion, Germany's Andreas Mattis, who starts on the outside of row number 7. Gilberto Loacker will be joined by the eldest driver on the grid, still very young at his age, Chile's Hector Ramirez. Kaz Boldemans is going to take the start this time, having not competed due to an arm problem yesterday. He starts 17th. Alongside him will be the pole sitter for E20 Junior, Joshua Graham, Harrison Whitcomb, Antoine Lemieux, Christopher Holst, Arthur Lorimier. Then we got Plancourt and Frederick. We then got David Plancourt and Frederick Lemieux alongside each other on the back row of the grid. So the flag marshal now makes his way off of the start-finish straights as we get set. Lights are out for the pre-final as a great launch there by the 721 of Belgium's Thijs Dams as they go up the hill for the first time. Now the E20 juniors put themselves into position. Dan Ashton, the flag marshal at the front of the grid, makes his way off to let us get racing for that as the field makes its way down to the opening hairpin. Red lights are on. Red lights go out for E20 Junior as row 2 nearly come together, which as now Harrison Whitcomb pulls in front of Joshua Graham as they make their way up the hill for the very first time. But in the meantime, we still have Thijs Dams leading the way. Charlie Turner in second as they come through into the Mike Wilson complex for the first time on lap number 1. Thijs Dams leading the way. Don't forget that there is a title up for grabs, but also a weekend winner ticket available for in the E20 seniors. Jonsson, Ibsen. Then we've also got the 755. Mats-Johan Overhoff now up into 4th. Spencer Brorum is currently in 5th ahead of Daniel Sabula, as they make their way over the bridge down the down the right-hander. And getting a bit brazen there was that was Junior Jonsson at the outside of Thomas Ibsen, clearly using the boost function. Spencer Brorum looking to get himself back up into the top 4 as they make their way through into the second hairpin. But at this moment, it could be very close indeed. Threading the eye of the needle. Nice anticipation by Spencer Brorum to get past Thomas Shibson, who's going to have the inside line for Bobby Game Corner. Spencer Brorum manages to keep out of harm's way as Mats-Johan Overhoff is just behind them in the number 755, running in the Kraft Motorsport colours. In the meantime, Joshua Graham is getting alongside Harrison Whitcomb through the second hairpin for the race lead, and they are being closed on in by the 602. He's just got up into second place. Inspired move there. And that was Christopher Holst from Switzerland who just made his way through. So it's going to be rather touch and go as to what happens next, as the main field from E20 and E20 Masters, well, Charlie Turner has made his way up into second position in the meantime. He's trying to close on Thijs Dams. But Jonsson trying to close on in. Thomas Shibson has got past Spencer Brorum. Spencer Brorum has got 55 points at the moment through the ranking after the heats. And at the minute, where he currently sits right now, 5th place, that is 48. Thijs Dams could be leading, having the advantage. Bit of a squeeze there Very close. That was a heart-in-the-mouth moment going down into the Fullerton S's between Harrison Whitcomb and Joshua Graham in E20 Junior. Christopher Holst is really trying to keep them all very, very honest, those especially in front of him. So 5.5 minutes still to go. Taze Dams has a lead of about 1.1 seconds. Junior Jonsson now past Charlie Turner for second position. So the ante is increasing for those gunning for a ticket if they are wanting to go for the weekend win, but also those that are going for the championship. Now, Taze Dams leads at the moment by 14 points, not taking into consideration drop scores. Head of Thomas Ibsen and Mats Johan Overhoff. They're covered by 14 points coming into this final round of the season before the drop scores are applied. I'll be taking those into consideration once we get the finals underway. Oh, very close indeed. A little bit further back behind Thomas Ibsen. As it is now a case of fighting amongst themselves. Very close indeed going through the first hairpin. Looks to be Daniel Sabula has made some strides up the order in the meantime. But Tomasz Ibsen makes his way past Charlie Turner, who's now in fourth ahead of Spencer Brougham. There's the 7.53 of Junior Jonsson. As, the two Brits are at it. Elbows are out and Spencer Brougham manages to get through on Charlie Turner. There's Daniel Sabula, who's also got through on the 7.29. It was side by side between Spencer Brougham and Charlie Turner through Bobby Game Corner. Turner ended up going off onto the AstroTurf runoff. Mats Johan Overhoff has got Philip Luaka from Switzerland breathing down his race overalls. Oh, bit of a change behind. Might have had, that's Cameron Crockett that might have just overtaken Victor Sundberg. So it is still very much all for themselves at this minute, with 3.5 minutes still to go. It's anyone's guess what might transpire as who's going to get the best run of form heading into this. But now Taze Dams has got Junior Jonsson and Tomasz Ibsen. Very, very close indeed. The three E20 Sodi carts are line astern through the Mike Wilson complex. Dams at this moment in time is still holding on to the race lead, but for how much longer? Both behind will be using the boost to try and overtake the 7.21 from Belgium, but he'll be using it as a defensive countermeasure. 3 minutes to go and they are still line astern. Very different driving style to internal combustion, especially with the power packs, the battery packs that the drivers have between themselves on each side. There's a lunge from Ibsen through on Junior Jonsson and gets through. But the power packs in between the side pods and the seats that they're sitting in are a lot smaller than when Project Thunder made its debut as part of the German Electric Kart Championship. But the powertrain built by the team in Austria at BRP Rotax, the team being headed up by Steve Chapman. Oh, this is going to be a little bit feisty. Harrison Whitcomb is challenging Christopher Holst, who's just been overtaken by Joshua Graham. They were 3 wide into the Fullerton S's. Oh, my goodness me. I thought the seniors and the masters were going to give me a fright, and it's the blooming juniors doing it again. Joshua Graham, stop scaring people, especially one with a microphone in his hand. Now it's getting feisty at the front end of the field because Tomasz Ibsen is trying to swarm all over the back bumper of Taze Dams. Junior Jonsson is waiting in the wings. There's Spencer Brougham. Oh, has a little bit of a tangle with the Swede into the second hairpin. And that's going to bring in Daniel Sabula and Charlie Turner. Sabula goes to the inside of the Fullerton S's, gets through for fourth on Spencer Brougham in the number 7.65. Oh, Tomasz Ibsen goes into the side and Taze Dams is backwards on the exit of Bobby Game Corner. Oh, dearie me. Taze Dams will be able to get that back onto the circuit, but a bit of a robust manoeuvre there from Tomasz Ibsen. Now the fight for the lead really gets underway. Spencer Brougham keeping A very, very close guard in front of Daniel Sabula, who rounds out the top four. Charlie Turner in the 7:29 is now going to lunge up the inside of Sabula through turn 4. Gets through, makes the move stick. Great anticipation there from Charlie Turner. Now he's again going for second, after seconds with Spencer Broham. The two were side by side through Bobby Game corner. The one in front got the better of the run out of that corner in comparison with the two there. Oh, Taze Dams is having to fight his way back, and it's not going to be an easy job for the 7:21 from Belgium. Heading into what will be now, very shortly, the penultimate lap. In the meantime, updates on the other classes. Well, at this minute, Andreas Mattis has not started the race. Neither has George Holbrook. Kaz Poldermans might have braved it out. I'm just waiting for the timing to update at the moment. So this could be a development, but the timer has hit 0. Right, 5-second penalty. Not a surprise. That is more than likely going to be causing a collision for Tomasz Ibsen, the 7:56 from Poland. Well, Kaz Poldermans is going to do, he said to me, he sent me a WhatsApp this morning. I said, how are you feeling? He said, I could be feeling a bit better, but I'm going to do my best and go out there. Well, Kaz, you're doing the right thing because you still might score, you will still score points. One more lap to go. So Tomasz Ibsen has now been overtaken by Junior Jonsson for the race lead as they go through the Bruno Ferrari S's for the final time. Up the hill, over the banking. That is going to put, if it stays like it is now, and there's no further penalties post-race, Junior Jonsson will be on pole position for the final. Who will he have alongside him? Well, it's the man at the moment who is in third, which will become second after Tomasz Ibsen's penalty post-race is applied. That man is the person that was on the front row of the grid for the heats, on the outside of the front row, and was the ranking after heats leader, Spencer Broham. Now it's a bit of a dogfight, switching from left to right between Junior Jonsson and Tomasz Ibsen. Through the Mike Wilson complex, they go for the final time. And after 11 laps of racing, it's Sweden's Junior Jonsson that picks up the win in the pre-final for E20 Senior. And a lot of celebration there from Daniel Sabula, who now will have seen the 5-second penalty for Tomasz Ibsen. That puts the number 724 into third behind Spencer Broham once the penalty has been applied post-race. Charlie Turner in 5th, Philip Lewacka 6th. That will become 5th. So that incident for Tomasz Ibsen is going to drop him in front of Mats-Johan Overhoff, so we'll put him 8th. Gilberto Lewacka takes the win in E20 Masters ahead of Hector Ramirez. As we are waiting for our last finisher to come across the line. You know what? This man has got guts. It's Kaz Poldermans in the 803. The 39-year-old from, the 39-year-old from Utrecht comes across the line after 11 laps. So Jonsson takes it. Ibsen will be demoted outside of the top 7. Spencer Broham, Daniel Sabula, Charlie Turner, Philip Lewacka, Cameron Crockett, and Taze Dams, who recovered to 8th. So Tomasz Ibsen is going to be in 8th behind Taze Dams. Mats-Johan Overhoff and Victor Sundberg ran at the top 10. Andrew Lloyd from Canada places 11th, ahead of Niels Lilia. Gilberto Lewacka wins E20 Masters ahead of Hector Ramirez. Joshua Graham wins E20 Junior, ahead of Harrison Whitcomb. Christopher Holst, Antoine Lemieux, Arthur Lorimier, David Planko, Frederic Lemieux, bringing up the rear of the field. Kaz Poldermans, non-starters from George Holbrook and Andreas Mattis.